After my interview at the bank, I came back home feeling a strange mix of hope and fear. I sat down, but I couldn't relax. My mind kept going over every detail. The way the interviewer smiled, the questions they asked, and how I answered them. Did I do okay? Was I too nervous? Did they notice how my hands were shaking a little? I didn't know. I just knew that something inside me wanted this so much, but I was afraid to want it too much. You know that feeling, right? When you care, but you're scared. So I sat at my small desk, looking at my laptop screen, watching my email inbox like something magic would happen right then and there. But nothing came. Not in the morning, not in the afternoon, not even at night. My husband told me, no news doesn't mean bad news. And I nodded, but my heart didn't listen. Every sound from my phone made me jump, and every time it wasn't the bank, I felt a little more tired. I tried to distract myself. I cleaned the kitchen, I folded clothes, I even baked some cookies, just to make the time pass. But even as the sweet smell filled our small home, my mind was still somewhere else. Waiting, wondering, what if I failed? What if I wasn't enough? But then sometimes just for a moment I'd think, what if I got it? And that thought was like a small light in the dark. It didn't stay long, but it made me smile. The days felt so slow, like the clock was moving just to test my patience. I wanted to know, but I couldn't force it. I had to wait. My husband saw how I was feeling, and he held my hand saying, let's go away for a bit. Just us, just nature, no phones, no waiting. I looked at him, surprised. A trip? I asked. Yes, he smiled. A small one, to the mountains we've always wanted to see. And even though part of me didn't want to leave the internet, leave my inbox, something in me said yes. Maybe, just maybe, what I needed was to breathe. To let go for a little while. That night, as I packed my bag, I looked at my phone one last time before sleep. Still nothing. I placed it beside me and whispered, it's okay. Tomorrow, I'll be somewhere new. The morning came with a soft light and a quiet stillness in the air. I stood by the window looking at the sky, feeling a little nervous but also a little free. Today we would leave the city for a few days, just me and my husband, just the mountains and the sky. As I zipped up my bag, I glanced at my phone again, almost out of habit. No new emails, no new messages. I took a deep breath and smiled, trying to let go. The drive was peaceful. The buildings slowly disappeared behind us, replaced by trees, open fields, and winding roads. I held my husband's hand as we talked about everything and nothing. He was excited to show me the place he had read about, a quiet spot in the mountains where you could hear your own thoughts, where the air was fresh and life felt simple. I tried to focus on his words, on the road ahead, but a part of me still wondered, what if the bank sent an email while I was gone? What if I missed something important? As we climbed higher into the hills, the signal on my phone began to fade. One bar, then none. The familiar world of notifications and messages slowly slipped away. No service, it said, and I stared at those words for a moment, feeling both nervous and relieved. Maybe this was what I needed, to disconnect, just for a while. I put my phone in my bag, zipped it up, and leaned back in my seat. When we reached the mountain lodge, I felt something shift inside me. The air was cool and clean, and the only sounds were the soft rustling of trees and the songs of birds. No cars, no buzzing phones, just peace. We unpacked and set out on a trail, walking hand in hand, with no rush, no plans. Step by step, I felt lighter, like the weight of waiting was slowly lifting off my shoulders. But of course, thoughts still came and went. As we walked, I sometimes wondered, Was this escape too much? Should I be back home, checking my inbox, waiting by my phone? My husband must have noticed the look on my face because he gently squeezed my hand and said, "You're here now with me, with nature. Let the rest wait." So I tried. I watched the sunlight dance through the leaves. I listened to the crunch of leaves under our feet. I breathed deeply, feeling the mountain air fill my lungs. We laughed about silly things, took pictures of the view, and even sat by a stream, dipping our toes in the cool water. And for a while, I forgot. I forgot about emails, about interviews, about waiting. That night, as we sat by the fire, wrapped in warm blankets, I felt something I hadn't felt in a while. Calm. Real, deep calm. Maybe the world didn't need to move so fast. Maybe answers didn't have to come right away. I looked at my husband, who was telling me a story about his childhood, and I smiled. This moment was enough, but still, a small voice inside whispered, "What if something has changed? What if there's news waiting for you?" I pushed the thought away, telling myself, "Not now. Just enjoy this." Tomorrow was another day, and for now, that was okay. The next morning, we set out early, ready to explore a new trail that led higher into the mountains. The sky was clear, and the air felt fresh on my skin. With each step, I tried to stay in the moment, feeling the earth beneath my feet, listening to the birds calling from the trees above. But somewhere deep inside, my thoughts were still tangled in the unknown. What if something had happened? What if the answer I was waiting for had already come? As we climbed, there was a spot where the path opened up, and the view took my breath away. Rolling hills stretched far into the distance, touched by soft morning light. We stopped there for a while, sitting on a rock, drinking water, just enjoying the stillness. I pulled out my phone, more out of habit than anything, and to my surprise, one tiny bar appeared. Just one, flickering in and out. My heart jumped. I didn't know why, but I opened my email app, almost not daring to hope. And there it was, a new message. My fingers trembled as I tapped the screen, but as soon as I saw the sender, my heart sank a little. It wasn't from the bank. It was from another company, one I had almost forgotten about. I had interviewed there weeks ago and hadn't heard anything since. Now, here was their answer. I clicked on the email, holding my breath. "Dear Mia, thank you for your interest." I didn't need to read more. I had seen this kind of message before. They were thanking me, yes, but not choosing me. My chest tightened, and I looked away from the screen. Even though I hadn't wanted that job, even though I wasn't excited about that company, being told no still hurt. It always hurt. I closed my eyes for a moment, trying to keep the sadness from growing too big. What if the bank says the same thing? The thought came quickly, and I couldn't stop it. My mind started to race. Maybe I wasn't good enough. Maybe they had already decided. Maybe right now, while I was up here in the mountains, they were sending me another "thank you, but no" message. I felt my husband's hand on my back, gently rubbing, steadying me. "It's okay," he said softly. "It's just one company. It's not the end." I nodded, but the doubt was already inside, whispering, making me question everything again. The rest of the hike felt different. I tried to smile, to enjoy the beauty around me, but my heart was heavy. I kept wondering, kept fearing. I didn't check my phone again. The signal was gone anyway. But in my mind, I kept seeing that email, those words, "Thank you for your time." As we walked back down, I thought about all the effort I had put in. All the studying, the late nights, the practice interviews. Was it enough? Would it ever be enough? The mountain path twisted and turned, and I followed, step by step, feeling like I was walking through my own thoughts. High and low, hope and fear, light and dark. When we got back to the lodge, I sat quietly for a while. I looked out at the trees, at the sky slowly turning golden with the setting sun. Maybe I wouldn't get the job. Maybe the bank had already made their choice. But one thing I knew, I had tried. I had done everything I could, and maybe, just maybe, that was enough for now. I didn't have all the answers, but tomorrow we would go home. And there, waiting in my inbox, would be whatever was meant for me. I wasn't ready to give up hope, not yet. We packed up early the next day, the air still cool with morning mist. The trip had been short, but it felt long in all the right ways. I had seen beauty, breathed deeply, and faced my own fears in silence. But now, as we drove back down the mountain, my heart began to race again. I wasn't thinking about the trees or the sky anymore. I was thinking about my inbox. It was funny, really. Just a few days ago, I had begged for peace. Now, I couldn't wait to return to the noise. I stared out the window, watching the signal bars on my phone come back one by one. 1, 2, then finally, full connection. I felt it like a jolt through my chest. My husband noticed right away. "Go ahead," he smiled. "Check it." I nodded and unlocked my phone. My email app opened slowly, almost teasing me, as if it too knew this was a moment I'd remember forever. My hands felt cold. My mouth was dry. My heart, it was thumping like a drum in a concert hall. Then I saw it. A new message from the bank. Everything else around me blurred. I tapped the email, holding my breath as the screen loaded. The subject line was simple: next steps, interview result. My eyes scanned the first line, then the second, and suddenly I couldn't breathe. "Dear Mia, we are pleased to inform you." That was it. That one sentence. I gasped so loudly my husband turned to me in alarm. "What? What is it?" "I got it," I whispered, then louder. "I got it!" Tears rushed to my eyes before I could stop them. I laughed. I cried. I clutched the phone to my chest like it was something holy. I didn't care who saw. I didn't care how loud I was. In that moment, the whole world could have melted away, and all that would have remained was that email, that message, that yes. My husband pulled the car over. We hugged. We cheered. He kissed my forehead and said, "I knew it. I knew you could do it." I read the email again, this time slower. They not only accepted me, they wanted to talk about my salary and discuss the starting date. It wasn't just a door opening. It was a whole hallway lighting up ahead of me. The kind of hallway I used to be too afraid to walk down. Now it was mine. I remembered all the doubts, all the sleepless nights, all the voices in my head saying I wasn't good enough. And now, this one message had changed everything. Not just my job, but the way I saw myself. I had taken a chance. I had tried, and it had worked. Not because I was perfect, not because I had all the answers, but because I didn't give up. We spent the rest of the drive in a daze of joy. I messaged my husband's sister, my close friend, and even that teacher who helped me with my interview answers. Everyone was so proud, but most of all, I was proud of me. For standing up again when I had fallen, for sending that application when I almost didn't, for climbing that emotional mountain and reaching the top. That night, back at home, I sat on my bed, phone still in my hand, staring at the screen like it was magic. And in a way, it was. Not because the words were fancy, not because the company was famous, but because I had doubted and still dared to believe. And that made all the difference. That night, as I lay in bed, I couldn't stop smiling. It wasn't just a small smile. It was the kind of smile that fills your whole face, that lights up your heart from the inside. I kept reading the email over and over again, as if the words might disappear if I looked away. We are pleased to inform you. I had never loved a sentence so much. Every time I read it, I felt a new wave of happiness, like the best kind of dream, except this time it was real. Tears filled my eyes again, but they were different now. These were not the tears of fear or sadness I had cried before. These were tears of joy, of relief, of something deep inside me finally being set free. I thought about the long days I had spent preparing, the moments I wanted to give up, the times I felt like I wasn't enough. And now, here I was, chosen, accepted, seen. I looked at my husband, who was already asleep beside me, and felt a rush of gratitude. He had been there through all of it. The doubts, the silent worries, the nights I stayed up watching videos, practicing answers, trying to believe. He never pushed me, never doubted me, even when I doubted myself. I whispered thank you softly into the night, hoping he felt it in his dreams. But more than anything, I felt thankful to myself for not giving in to the fear, for taking that small, shaky step forward when I could have stayed still, for daring to hope, even when hope seemed foolish. In that quiet moment, something inside me shifted. I realized that success isn't just about getting what you want. It's about who you become while you're waiting. It's about learning to hold on, even when it's hard. About trusting that your effort, your heart, your journey, they matter. I remembered a quote I once read, something like, "Your future self is watching you right now through memories." And I smiled, thinking, yes, she's watching. And she's proud. This job offer wasn't just a new beginning for my career. It was a new beginning for how I saw myself. I wasn't just someone who tried. I was someone who made it. Not because I had all the skills or the perfect background or the most confidence, but because I didn't stop. Because I believed, even when the world was silent. And I wanted to remember this feeling. I wanted to carry it with me through every challenge, every doubt that might come again. Because they would come. Life always brings new hills to climb. But now I knew something important. I knew that joy comes after the storm, that light follows the darkest nights, and that sometimes just when you think the answer is no, life surprises you with a beautiful yes. I closed my eyes, phone still resting beside me, and felt a deep, peaceful happiness. The kind that wraps around you like a warm blanket, whispering, "You did it. You really did." Tomorrow, I would start planning the next steps. I would talk to the bank about my salary, about when I could begin. But tonight, I would rest. I would dream, not of what I wanted, but of what I had found, strength, love, and a new belief in myself. Because this was more than just a job. This was the moment I knew I could rise. If you're still listening, I want to tell you something. Something I wish someone had told me when I was waiting, when I was unsure, when I felt like the world was moving forward without me. I want you to know that it's okay to be in that place. It's okay to not have the answers yet. It's okay to hope and fear and hope again. Because I've been there. I've sat in silence, staring at a screen, wondering if I was enough. I've waited for something to change, for something to happen, and I know how heavy that can feel. But here's the truth. Just because you can't see it yet doesn't mean it's not coming. Sometimes the best things take time. Sometimes you have to walk through doubt, through quiet days, through no's and not yets before you reach the yes that was meant for you. And when it comes, you will see it was worth every step, every tear, every night you stayed strong when you wanted to give up. I'm not special. I'm not different from you. I just kept going. even when I didn't know where the road would lead. And if you can do that, if you can hold on a little longer, I promise something beautiful is waiting for you too. Maybe today you're waiting. Maybe you're checking your email, your phone, looking for that sign that things will get better. Maybe you're tired of hearing be patient or stay positive. I get it. Those words can feel empty when your heart is full of worry. But please, don't lose hope. Because the moment you're waiting for might be just around the corner. When I was up on that mountain, I thought the answer would be no. I thought I had failed again. And yet the truth was already written. The yes was already on its way. I just didn't know it yet. So I want you to think about that. Maybe right now, something good is coming to you too, even if you can't see it. Maybe just like me, you'll come home to a message that changes everything. And even if it's not today, even if it takes longer, I want you to believe in yourself. Not just in the results, but in the journey, in the person you are becoming. Stronger, wiser, more open to life's surprises. Because that's what matters most. I want you to ask yourself, what if I'm closer than I think? What if, just like Mia, I'm about to discover something wonderful? Hold on to that thought. Let it carry you. Let it remind you that you're not stuck, you're not forgotten, you're just in the middle of your story. And you know what? Stories don't end here. This is just a chapter, a beautiful, messy, hopeful chapter. So take a breath, smile a little, and when you feel ready, take that next step. Apply for that job. Send that message. Try one more time. Because you never know. The next thing you do might lead to the moment you've been dreaming of. Thank you for being here with me, for listening to my story. I hope it made you feel less alone. I hope it gave you a little light, a little strength. And if it did, I'd love for you to share it with someone else who needs it. Let's walk this road together, one step, one hope, one victory at a time. Now I want to hear from you. What are you waiting for? What are you hoping for? Share it in the comments if you'd like. I read every message and I believe in every single one of you. Your yes is coming. I believe that. And I believe in you.